Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the St. Johns County show that's on in the morning. Is it true?
No.
Okay. All right.
Blake took us back to serious really quick.
Yeah, right.
Blake was yelling in a serious tone.
He really is like the recess, as aide. You know what I mean? Like, everybody get in, ready, go. Such a good wrangler, Blake. You're amazing.
All right. Well, that's a bummer. That would have been
a great
not that
story.
we're going to talk about that on the show, but
Yeah.
All right. Everybody's lost out there watching. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well. It's going to be a good show today. We got a lot to talk about. We've got County Administrator Joy Andrews in studio with us. We've got a lot to talk about with Joy Transportation. We've got some whole boatload of jobs.
Oh, good.
Coming to St. Johns County.
That's
you
nice.
You guys know I love jobs.
Steve Jobs?
Yeah. Steve Jobs and jobs for St. Johns Countyans.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Opportunities.
Yes. Speaking of jobs, Michael Lugo's newest restaurant opened up.
Oh, yeah, I heard it's good.
Talk a little bit about that. I haven't been. You know me. I when trendy things come out, I wait like 7 years to go do them.
Well, it's smart. You gotta
Wait
let
until
them.
they're not trendy
Yeah.
anymore.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
It's a good move.
I
Let
don't
them
like
get their
trendy
bearings
things.
for 7 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Catch them on the downslope.
So we can rant about it.
I do love ranting. We've got Memorial Healthcare planning a freestanding ER in St. Johns County. Don't they all stand on their own?
Yeah.
Am I mistaken, or do we have people holding up our current ER just on the sides of the building in shifts?
Yeah.
It's not freestanding. You've got the Amish holding the building out
God
there at
bless them.
Flagler UF.
So nice.
Yeah.
Seamus.
Old Seamus. We've got St. Johns County. We've got an update on the food for fines for the library program. That helped a lot of people. And some infrastructure projects in Hastings.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So we've got a lot to do on this show today. It's going to be fun. But I will start out by telling you about the world famous, the Florida Man Games.
Okay.
Presented by Flowgrown. We've got, Davey, have you been following the teams? Like, has Cooter Commandos requested to be your friend?
Yes.
And Hanky Spanky?
And Hanky Spanky.
Have you seen the war that's going on between these two teams?
It's incredible. It's incredible, like
unbelievable.
sub-marketing that is just really like trickling over to other news feeds. People are sharing it. It's awesome.
It's so great. It's hilarious. They're really going at it, man.
Yeah.
So definitely made sure they're in different divisions so they can go head to head against each other at some point.
I can't
out
wait
there
to
at the
see
Florida
this
Man Games. It better
Battle
happen.
Royale.
It had better happen. So it's going to be exciting out there. Can't wait. You got one more week. We got one more Saturday that the Florida Man Games will have never existed. Mm-hmm. Enjoy your last Saturday where the Florida Man Games does not exist, because after that, the world changes. Is that too grand? Is that too? The world changes.
The world is going
It's
to
an
shift.
international event, guys.
Yes.
Florida Man.
True.
Worldwide.
Oh, God. Okay, now you just made me sound real corny, Troy.
Did you see the announcement this morning from Florida Ma'am?
No.
Birdie Paradise is coming back to show off. I'm very excited to meet Birdie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, apparently she's. It's very rare for her to make an appearance, and she's making an appearance at the first Florida Man Games.
Okay.
Very
That's
nice.
awesome. Lots
Yeah.
of things going on that I don't know about.
I figured you wouldn't know that one.
Even I get surprises on the Florida Man
Oh
Games.
boy!
Wow. Sweet. All right. Big shout out to some of our local sponsors as well out there. Ripley's, Atlantic Marine, Power Sports STA. It's STA, so you know they're local. Mm-hmm. Canaan Law, Bozard, Sunshine Yacht and Cruises. Prohibition Kitchen, dropping us some VIP food out there. It's going to be great. Very exciting. The Florida Man Games.com. Also, big shout out to our friends at Bozard Ford Lincoln. They are celebrating 75 years in St. Augustine in Northeast Florida. Also, big sponsors of the Florida Man Games as well. That's exciting. They are here for you. You can experience their extensive selection of new and pre-owned vehicles, quick and quality servicing, and their parts and accessories shop that will blow your mind. I don't know why I'm still looking at the camera. The thing's up. They can't even see me.
It's good practice though for the others.
Yeah, in case you have a speech class later.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know me in classes.
Make
I
eye
love
contact.
classes.
Make eye contact. Head right back down.
What are you saying, Troy?
Yeah, that's what this speech class was. Remember they were like, oh, make sure you make eye contact. And you're reading it like this.
No,
Yeah,
I
do you
never
mind-
took speech class.
You
That's why
never
I don't
did?
make eye contact.
Oh.
Yeah, they were really on to us about making eye contact.
Well, and I couldn't read the speech anyway, so it didn't go good.
Yeah.
So I'd write like down five words and then it ad-lib the speech the entire time.
People couldn't read the words of the letters you strung together.
Yeah. No, well, my dyslexia was painful.
Yeah.
Was it just a fear? Like, could you have trained yourself to read better? Or did...
I trained myself to get as far as I did.
Yeah, true.
So, I mean, it was really bad.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Pledge Allegiance, you just memorized it, right?
Yeah. Like by the time I was 4.
Right.
Yeah. Didn't we all?
It seems like you said it like 6 times a day at that time.
Right.
Yeah. CC.
Mozart Ford Lincoln. They are driven to inspire.
I'm at the age there was still prayer in school.
Wow, you're one of those people.
Yeah.
Wow.
In public school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
By the time I was in public school, you had to have like a prayer group, and you could go out and do your prayer and that stuff.
that's
But it
nice,
wasn't
too.
like wasn't a school-wide thing.
Not up north.
I'm the age of PP, prayer and paddling.
Oh, but we did have a paddle. We did have that. That was there. Victor was always getting spanked.
Painful.
Victor, throwing
Oh,
paste.
Victor. Yeah.
Poor Victor.
All right. Also, a big shout out to Fidus Roofing, Great Expectations Realty and Auction, Chiba Hut Toasted Sub, St. August Pizza, BHF Insurance, Amara Med Spa, Griffin Service, Chris Lucero Bail Bonds, and Willow and Maine, who we'll talk about very shortly. But first, Troy, Davey, we got Blake in the booth this morning.
Okay.
Yeah,
Getting in an extra day.
that's it. And Joy Andrews here in studio with us. How you guys doing?
Good. Good morning.
Happy Thursday.
It's Thursday.
Joy, you know what that means? Weekend Eve.
Yes.
Weekend Eve.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Very exciting. It's Friday
Big
Junior
day.
today. Yes.
Friday Junior.
Blake, how's it going back there?
I'm doing well. It was I learned at midnight that I was going to be coming in.
Oh.
Well, thank you for swooping in and gracing
Yeah,
us.
Thank you. What happened? I did not learn that you were going to be coming in.
Yeah. So for some reason, Clay was driving and he wouldn't be able to get back to his house like around 2 a.m. So
Oh.
Yeah, that's probably a good call.
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I found out this morning I'm in the shower, which I was enjoying my shower, and I heard, "Hey, Dad." He's not awake unless he's working. I was like, "Oh, you working?"
Oh.
Well, thanks,
All right.
Blake. We
Thank
need
you,
you.
Blake.
Appreciate
Yeah.
you being in.
Glad you're here, Blake. Troy, what do we got for question of the day?
All right, question of the day: what athlete's career would you most like to have? Like, if you could, do like a Freaky Friday and actually, but have the entire career.
Yeah. Wow. Wouldn't be LeBron James. What an overhyped career that would be. And I'm not the type of guy who's gonna, do the soccer thing and pretend to be hurt every time somebody breathes on me. Mm-hmm. So I would say definitely not Kobe Bryant. I mean, definitely not LeBron James. Mm-hmm. Michael Jordan wins that debate all day long, by the way, between LeBron James and Michael Jordan. It's not even close.
Yeah, we were all in agreement on that.
No,
yeah.
we're not.
No, really?
No, we're not.
What
We're not all in an agreement because I've seen both of them play live.
Blake, you have not seen both of them play live, so you can't even talk on this.
How
sir.
do you
Yeah.
live?
I've seen both of them play live, and he's just 50 pounds heavier with more muscle
So,
and taller.
and he's not as good.
You'd crush him one-on-one.
I'd crush him one-on-one. I would destroy LeBron James one-on-one. I'd run under his legs. All right.
So is it Michael for you?
I guess it's got to be Michael
Yeah,
Jordan.
because
Yeah,
I mean, he's got a good business career.
Yeah.
He's now in NASCAR. You might see
Is
him.
he? Oh, I might see him down there. Yeah. I'm in NASCAR now too.
Yeah, you and Michael have that in common.
That's right.
Yeah.
I basically am Michael Jordan. Play him one-on-one too.
Hello,
I'm glad I got you there.
the complexion.
And Michael Jordan is still, to this day, you can turn on SportsCenter right now, and in the
Still
next
relevant.
5 minutes, they'll mention his name.
He's still relevant.
Yeah.
So, Davey, what about you?
Oh my God, Bobby did it. I'm gonna say world famous spin star Benjamin Aldis. He's from London and he's a spin coach and he's an aficionado. He's an amazing endurance athlete. So yeah,
Okay.
I would love to play switcheroo with him for sure. That didn't sound right, but yeah, you know what I mean.
That's
Switcheroo.
something.
You know what I mean? Like
what
switch
you
to
meant.
live, yeah, Freaky Friday, yeah.
Freaky Friday moment.
Blake, what do you think, man?
Ooh, I'm actually gonna go with I'm probably gonna say Wayne Gretzky.
Wayne Gretzky. That's pretty good.
Good guess.
Yeah.
Good guess.
You can be one of the best at your sport and still nobody recognizes you in public.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know Wayne Gretzky if I saw him today.
He's still worth $1 bazillion.
Right.
Still going to be, always going to be the greatest.
Right. And no one cares about him or his sport. Yeah.
Okay, damn.
Well, there are people out there that do, just not in Florida so much.
Right. Yeah.
No, that's a good answer. I think for me, I mean, if you went football, you kind of want to lean towards Tom Brady. But there's no way I could be Tom Brady because I just can't stand the Patriots.
Yeah, that's why you couldn't beat Tom Brady.
Well,
Not that you can't really throw a football all that well, but...
No, I actually can throw football really well.
Okay, all right. Over the mountain?
Yeah, over the mountain. I can tell you this.
Uncle
I come
Rico.
closer to throwing football as well as Tom Brady as you do to dunking like Michael Jordan.
It's a great analogy.
I have
Really
no
clear.
argument.
Very clear.
I was trying to think, how could I make that work?
Just say great.
It's just the gap of athletic ability is what it is. Tom Brady's not even a quarter of the athlete Michael Jordan is.
I thought you were going to say you. Tom Brady's not a quarter of the athlete you are. I was like, okay, Troy, now we're pushing the boundaries a little bit here.
No, but I because of that, I'm going to stay still with football. I'm going to go with Peyton Manning because he's still very relevant.
Okay.
Like he shows up, Bud Light called him in to save their brand.
Yeah, they did.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they did.
So,
yeah.
I mean,
Him and who else was in that commercial? Emmett Smith?
Emmett,
yeah.
Emmett. So, it's
Didn't work, by the way.
it helped.
Maybe it did.
It helped. But I think I got to go with Peyton just because of, he's still a guy that you can call and is great on camera too.
Yeah.
I wish I was that. He's witty. He's a good guy.
Yeah. Him and his brother do a good podcast, I guess. I've never seen it.
Yep.
Joy, do you have an athlete that you would switch lives with if you had a chance?
Don't have one.
Don't have one.
Is, the closest thing that I do that is somewhat sporty is fitness combat and Zumba. Do we have athletes for that?
Yeah, yeah.
You would know.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Yeah, we can definitely find one for sure.
All right.
Fitness combat, especially Zumba. Oh, they're awesome. The instructors that incredible. Yeah, Zumba's amazing.
I almost became a fitness instructor for combat if I didn't fail. The last
You like body combat?
Oh yeah, I love it. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, lots of punch. Bruce
Shout out
Lee,
to Kelly
maybe.
Thompson in town.
Yeah.
She's
There
the
you go.
greatest.
Other than
Bruce
the
Lee?
dying young part, I don't want to live that.
There you go. All right, there we go. I'll be curious to see what you guys have to say out there in comments world. But for now, it's time for a quick check of the weather, Troy.
It's nice today.
That long check of the weather brought to you by Great Expectations Realty and Auction. They can sell your home, your business, and everything in it. Check them out at geauction.com, gerealty.us. We now go to Blake Blevins for our live traffic report. Blake.
All right, here's a map.
Okay, there's the map. Why do I want to sing the Dora the Explorer song when he says that?
And here's the cameras.
Okay.
Have you ever seen the Saturday Night Live skit about the map, the song?
No.
The guy went in and like he missed the assignment. He's like, "Oh, Pete, you're going to give us a song about the map, right?" And he goes, "Oh, okay." And because the song's so simple.
Yeah.
I'm the map. I'm the
Right,
map.
right.
Map.
He made it up on the spot.
Oh, I see what you're saying. All right. That was like the development meeting for the idea of the map.
They're all sitting around.
Okay, I gotcha. Woo.
Having a morning. Yeah.
That's it. I wouldn't have been able to come up with that song.
It's a great one.
All right. Now, Blake, thank you for the traffic report. Of course, brought to us by Amara Med Spa. Amara Med Spa. Feeling overwhelmed? Has your skin lost its luster? You can refresh and renew at Amara Med Spa. Their expert therapists will deliver groundbreaking treatments and facials tailored to your needs. You have high standards. That's why Amara Med Spa exists. Embrace relaxation and unveil your radiance. Begin your transformation at theamaramedspa.com.
Joy, then comments are saying you could be Richard Simmons. That'd be perfect. I think it's a perfect mix. Definitely.
There you go.
Love 'em.
Okay.
God bless.
Very
I
colorful.
have the same outfit.
Yeah, see? Short shorts and a tank top and a lot of joy.
You got to get that afro going
Oh, no, don't
somehow.
have that. You need to get that.
That's the tough
My
part right
Halloween
there.
choice this year.
That's
There you go.
perfect.
Okay, there you go. Good morning, Joy Andrews, County Administrator, in studio with us, and we've got a few things on the docket to talk about. I guess we will start with transportation. So this is a story hit the news last week, I think, of groundbreaking from the county commission on 210. I'm told a little bit of blowback here when this picture kind of dropped. A lot of people kind of asking the same question we hear a lot, right, over the last few years is, why aren't developers paying for this? Why aren't they kicking in more? This is their project, right? So can you shed any light on this, this topic, and what are we doing going forward?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about it so that I can make some correction. I think there is some wrong impression, and not really our residents' fault. I think we could have done a better job to explain. It is, development responsibility. It is a very complicated issue. It's also a legal matter. It's a contractual matter. But I can say with the confidence that 210 expansion is entirely paid for by development and developers. So that's not true that why the developers not paying for it. Mm-hmm. So what happened was Twin Creek, which is the development, came in. I'm going to say 2008, right after recession. There was some negotiation. At the time, the board really wanted to promote and incentivize development because we didn't have it much going on. And so it was a policy decision at the time, and it was on paper a great development. There was a lot of stipulations that were built in the development agreement, which was great. So it comes to time for implementation. The developer did not act very proactively on building the roads and parks and other infrastructures that he was responsible and it still is responsible and obligated to fulfill, to offer the mediation and mitigation that he's required to for any really impact on the residents. Particularly the biggest one is transportation. So it comes to 2021, we start to really look at what his obligations were and if there was any overdue on obligations, and then we discovered that the transportation, the benchmark or the milestone or phasing, development obligations are fulfilled by phases. So usually a development agreement will prescribe the phase that you're at and at which phase that you will be responsible for, let's say, build a park or 4-lane in 210. And the developer at the time, we believe around 2022, that he was responsible for completing the 4-laning of the 210 from Beach Walk community entrance all the way to C.E. Wilson, which is less than 1 mile. So that was a problem. And we went through a number of rounds of negotiation, mediation, and the board really came to a conclusion that there isn't really a whole lot of negotiation we can do with this particular developer. And they decided unanimously, really voted to give county attorney's office to pursue any and all legal measures that we have in our hands to pursue the obligations fulfillment. So, after a couple of months, I think the developer came to the table, decided that he's willing. Now, it's not really for him to be willing or not.
Right, you already made the agreement.
He agreed.
Yeah.
He
Right,
wasn't willing. As a developer now, he wasn't willing.
He was forced to come to the table. We handcuffed him to the table. And so we agreed on the MOU. The board recently, before the construction of, the groundbreaking of 210, signed MOU with John Kinsey, who's the developer of Twin Creek, for him to agree to a methodology how we calculate his financial obligation. The road,
Joy, and just so everybody out there knows, the MOU is a memorandum of understanding.
Thank you, Troy. And we really concluded a long time ago we do not want him to construct this road because we cannot put the actual road, the safety, the standard, and the completion date on his hands anymore. So we decided to take over the construction, and we billed him for every penny that he's responsible for through this memorandum of understanding. So there is no off the hook from his financial responsibility, and his responsibility is beyond road. There are parks, there are fire stations, there
What
are
a bummer for him to act like this, though. and
there are
didn't-
different things. Well, I can say this here. I to me, it's purely a business decision, especially when you get developers don't live here and they don't experience the pain we do every day to
True,
go
yeah.
through the traffic. So that is something that we learned, and then the board was, and I kudos to them. They made the decision very quickly, and at the time, Megan was our county attorney, and they said, David, we want you to pursue any legal measures that we have to make sure that he's going to pay for what he's owed to us.
True, yeah.
So, so the whole construction of that less than a mile is $15 million, really expanding from 2-lane to 6 lanes. His obligation is to widen it to 4 lanes, but because of the mobilization cost and the saving that we could accomplish by building 6-lane with the 4-lane at the same time, the difference is really less than $2 million to go from 4 to 6. So, I think it's a good business decision to just go to 6, because eventually we're going to get to that capacity with the high school at the beach side, and then being the bottleneck from beach side to 95 to 210 west. It just makes sense to go all the way to 6.
Joy, and we talked about this earlier. Does he already have houses that are being sold right now?
Yes.
Okay. Why didn't the county just hold his certificates of occupancy? Because I had to do that at Palencia. I don't know. You might have just been starting your career then. I had to do that at Palencia because they tried to do a similar thing with parks.
Yeah.
And we held their certificates of occupancy, and miraculously they couldn't sell,
happened.
so
Yeah.
they weren't getting revenue coming in, and all of a sudden they showed up at the table.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering, why didn't they use that same strategy?
So that strategy was on the table among other ones. There were a couple complications on that strategy. One is that a moratorium requires exceptional resolution because we're talking about property rights. In addition to that, Beach Walk is a mixed-use development, and there are commercials, there are residentials, there are hospitality. The ownership and the entitlement in that development is very convoluted. There are lands that were already
it's a breach
sold.
of contract.
So when you hold a moratorium, then you have to sort out who else is going to be negatively affected by that. And they weren't at the table. They weren't responsible for the overdoing of the responsibilities. So that was something that our legal was sorting through. And then miraculously, the developer came to the table. So we didn't have to exercise that moratorium, but it is still on the table. And he hasn't paid yet. Right now, what we're doing is that we have a contract between the developer and the board, basically saying, based on this calculation, this road standard, you're going to owe us whatever the calculation is going to be. And we think it's going to be over $9 million from him. And if he decides to not pay any less than 9, then we will explore all of these options. We'll take him to the court. We will, and I'm probably going to get in trouble with our county attorney's office to talk about legal strategy, but moratorium is not off the table.
Okay. No, because I mean, it worked very effectively. I mean, it was a breach of contract on his part, and he hasn't paid yet. So, you don't get to drive the car off the car lot
Yeah,
until you pay the bill.
right.
So to me, it was a strategy. And it's a
And it worked
strategy,
for you.
and it worked for us because but it was like you said, there's some other developers and some other things involved in this.
Yeah.
And mine was one individual developer at one
Sure.
individual thing. So there is a difference there. But I know the strategy works because if he's not bringing in revenue, you're going to get him to that table really quick.
Trust me, myself, our board, we're not afraid to go nuclear.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that is the option still. We're going to keep all options on table,
Yeah.
for sure, to make sure that he pays.
And what do we do to avoid this situation in the future? What do we build into these contracts going forward? What do we change about policy going forward to make sure that we're not having to come to the table like this in the future, that people know they have to fulfill these obligations, because it's not going to get to this point again.
Right. Yeah, that's a great question. And I think the commissioners currently on board any of them really weren't part of the approval of this development.
Right.
That was way before their time on the board. I can give you an example that Christian Whitehurst, who is, really kind of the leading commissioner on the Greenbrier negotiation, Hilo negotiation, which I think the policy, the board at the end came together to agree on, that looks like it's going to be the trend. Now, I'm not going to predict how in the future they're going to make policy, but that was a big deal. I think it was a turning point on how we deal with our developers' responsibility and in what way they will mitigate those impact, and what was proposed to the developer, and proposing meaning that if you don't do it, we won't give you the approval, was that you're going to pay upfront. So basically, in Hilo's development, I think Commissioner Whitehurst and then the rest of Commissioner Dean, Commissioner Lamo, and Commissioner Arnold, I couldn't remember, Commissioner Joseph was also on the board, but they basically held the developer accountable by saying that you can forget about this development unless you pay upfront. So we got $20 million upfront for the widening of Greenbrier and Veterans Parkway area. So that was a huge shift of policy and policy decision sort of methodology they used. And I can safely predict that is going to be the methodology most of developments is going to be reviewed at. Of course, there's always every development is different. We are just so blessed. Everybody wants to move here, and so some want to go south, some want to go north. So the mitigation of impact is different from south to north, from north to east, from west to east. So there is going to be some flexibility on how they want to adopt that. But I think upfront mitigation is what we're looking at to avoid future situation like this.
And it's got to be in well before your time. I mean, and you see a lot of times, like when you got here, parks had to be first. Well, that started because of the mistake we made at World Golf Village. All right, World Golf Village, we didn't, in the DRI, we didn't ask for enough. And we thought, we were just so happy to have that many houses in the early 90s and stuff. And I didn't get the parks up front. Right now, just now, it's under construction, the regional park that should have been at World Golf Village in the 1990s.
Wow.
So we're talking 30 years later. It's tough to kind of put the toothpaste back in the tube.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I 100% am supporting everything being up front.
Yeah.
And with that said, obviously we've seen another kind of element of all this over the last couple of years has been price increases, right? So are we building in when we're saying, hey, you got to pay this $20 million up front? Does that account for in 3 years, maybe when we get to this road project, this is what it's going to cost in 3 years? Or are we going to have to say, well, they committed to $20 million, but now it costs $40 million to build this. So
Good
now
question.
we have to throw in that extra $20 million.
And that is really, really good question. Let me just talk about State Road 16. What a sore subject. Another litigation that we're going through is with Grand Oaks. At the time when the board, and this is also way back, and this is also a out-of-town developer who does not live here. And they agreed to, in fact, I remember because we just went through mediation. I can't talk about what we talked about in mediation, but we essentially broke up. We can't agree on things. So at the time of the approval of development, there was explicit, capture on camera, with all the board meeting, there was explicit a promise of construction of 16 from basically 95 Outlet Mall area all the way to 3 miles in front of Grand Oaks. At the time, the estimated cost of construction is $15 million. Now, we captured that number in agreement, really just more for FYI, like it's about $15 million, but your responsibility is to actually make that road happen. Well, now 2023, the developer can't do it because they missed the window of opportunity to build a road, and the construction cost of $3 million is close to $60 million. And conservatively, it may even be $80 million because, for one, your road construction standard has exponentially increased by FDOT. They have different grading requirements, different surfacing requirements, sidewalks, and all these things. And then two, everybody knows the construction cost has grown exponentially, especially road construction. So it is on them that they are now really doesn't even have the capacity to do what they said they were going to do. So we're going to see them in court on how we're going to deal with this. And to Troy's point, right now that whole thing is basically on a moratorium and nothing is being built. The plat that was going to be released is now stopped. So we also had to do cleanup because there is inadvertent impact on people. People, some of the developers, and then they work with the builders, and they don't necessarily know exactly what's going on. So they start to sell lots that are not platted, and then therefore you can't have legal description and all these things. So we did have to unwind a couple homeowners who really didn't do anything wrong. They were excited moving their new home. All of a sudden, that home is not really for them to live in. So we have to do some negotiation with them to make sure those homeowners are protected. But those are the unintended consequences of these kind of stuff. But the large picture is that no more houses, that you really can't go plat anything, you can't build anything until we see the road. So that's I forget your question.
No, it's
No, it's all good. The question was kind of like, up front they're paying $20
inflation,
million.
Yes,
what happens between the gap?
I got carried away with my, but to your question, so the $20 million is, we know we're going to use that $20 million immediately. So there is no indexing for that portion.
It's
Waldron,
real time money.
Yeah, and Troy, you remember Commissioner Waldron, when he was here, he was big on indexing construction cost and construction obligation. So every single contractor we have now is that based on your obligation, as long as you don't build it, or as long as that we are not building it, based on your phasing, it's going, every year it goes on, it'll be indexed.
It's progressive.
So you'll get an inflation adjustment.
Progressive.
Yeah.
Right. And one of the things, and we're talking a lot about DRI's development of regional impact. We talk in acronyms a lot, so I'm trying to help out the audience a little bit.
I got it. They're good, yeah.
The difference between a large PUD and a DRI, because to me, the most dangerous thing coming into the county are not the DRIs, it's the larger PUDs that are really close to the threshold of
999 homes.
Yeah, 999 homes, and they take it right to that limit, and then all they have to do is pay the impact fees on the houses, which is never enough. How do we defend against those larger PUDs, in my opinion, that aren't paying their part?
Well, so we no longer have DRI. So that is already an outdated state definition. Development regional impact type of development has already retired. The concept has already retired. So now we're not really dealing with the threshold of 999 anymore. I think it really... It is a very loaded question. The question is, how do we hold the developers accountable who are building these large development? And whether or not impact fee is sufficient. So a couple of things. One is we are currently, the comprehensive plan update, a big component of it is to look at transportation mitigation. We currently have a concurrency program, which means that it's a prop share. So Troy, if you're building a development, you are impacting State Road 16, you are impacting 208. So those are the corridors you're going to be impacting. I'm going to calculate how much if I build this road to mitigate all the traffic that you're bringing in. And I'm going to tell you your share of that proportionate share, and you're going to have to pay that up front. It could be either 10 million, it could be 15 million. In addition to that, you have to pay impact fee, which mitigates each individual household. To whenever you build a house, you pay the impact fee, and that household will pay for the transportation impact, school impact, parks impact, and public safety impact, all of that. So the calculation of impact fee needs to be updated because it needs to catch up with inflation. It is a very state-regulated policy. We don't get to go outside of that. So that is part of the problem. The state requires you to do certain things, that you have to have a certain type of concurrency program. And the state is trying to have a balance of protecting both local government and property rights. So they don't want the local government to overcharge developers. So there are a bunch of protection mechanisms in place that you can't overcharge them. Your prop share has to be calculated a certain way. So if we ended up with a underfunded financial mechanism for all these mitigation, large part is because the state regulates the local government. And then I can see that, state government wants to make sure local government is not overgrowing our power and somehow hurting our development. But in St. Johns County's case, we are on the other side. We need more flexibility and freedom to hold our developers accountable, to make sure that we can charge them, not outside of what's in the formula. This algorithm that we're using is every day people get on the road and you keep bringing these new homes, but the county legally can't ask them to pay more. Yeah. So that's the challenge. We have to look at our concurrency program all over again, and that is something we're doing right now. We're looking at mobility fee as a hybrid addition to impact fee, which is a concept that the state does allow, but there is a lot of convoluted requirement that if you're instituting a mobility fee, how is it going to affect your impact fee and all these things. So anyway, I'm getting into too much of a weeds of these technicality. Right. But upfront mitigation is really critical for the county. So
you said they eliminated the DRI, so there's no separation. It's just basically household by household. Yeah. All right. Household by household, that gets passed down to the consumer. So that the impact fees on residential is going to be the household impact fees is going to be baked into whatever the house is going to cost. It's part of the reason why some of the housing is unaffordable in a lot of our areas. Yeah. Talk about impact fees for commercial, because we're so out of balance on commercial to residential. Isn't it? Is it? I know at one point it was like 87% to 13%. I think it's a little better than that right now. But to me, the commercial impact fees, need a little help to entice these developers, stop building so many houses and start building some industry here. Yeah. So is there some measures that the county's doing for those?
The county has already done that. We give 60% discount. Essentially, you can't really discount impact fee. So right now, commercial does not pay concurrency, which means that if you, Troy, you want to build a noodle shop somewhere and then you are impacting Racetrack Road, you really don't pay the concurrency. And in addition to that, impact fee, we have a buy down program, which impact fee by state law, you cannot waive. That's why we're struggling with affordable housing. You cannot just waive because impact is impact. It doesn't matter who lives there. And the state requires that if you treat one section of the users this way, you cannot treat other sections of the user the other way. So you can't waive them, but the county can use other parts of funding to buy down certain impact fee. And in commercial world, we do a buy down program. Well, I guess it's subsidy program where economic development will pay for that discount. So, but honestly, the divide or the perfect ratio of commercial to residential and that one perceived that we're not reaching is not, to me, and this is how I see it, is not because how much we're discounting the impact fee. They are part of the business decision making, but there are many other things. The land value is a huge deal from what I'm hearing, because I reach out the business and I wanted to entice them to come to St. Johns County if they fit our lifestyle and our needs. Land value is tremendously higher than many other surrounding areas. That's for one. And we do have a high impact fee, but it's not a deciding factor. One biggest deciding factor is availability of land. We have a lot of land. we don't have
Well,
a
it's
lot
a double
that
whammy.
were entitled for industrial and commercial. Yeah.
It's a double whammy because I mean you're
That's an official government term.
Yeah, it's
right?
a double whammy.
I like
Double
it.
whammy,
Yeah.
that's
Making
right,
sure.
yeah.
No whammies, no
We'll
whammies.
make sure that will make to the comprehensive plan.
But as a developer, you look at it and go, wow, okay, I'm paying 20% more for this acreage, and then that goes into our door fees, and then the impact fee hits you on top of that, and then we're talking concurrency. Tell me, you said something. You said mobility. You said concurrency. It's called one thing in like the city, and it's called another thing in the county. It is. What's the difference? Does the county look at mobility differently than concurrency? Because I look at them the same.
Concurrency is essentially prop share. So concurrency is that when you build, we calculate the entire impact on this impacted road, and then we divide up. You're responsible 50. I'm responsible 50. The gas station, it's already 100. So you're 50. I'm 30. Gas station 20. So then you pay your 50. But then you also have ongoing impact fee you're paying. So concurrency is really a mechanism for the county to ask developer to pay cash upfront. They do get impact fee credit for that because impact is impact. So you can overcharge them for the impact they generate. So if you pay $9 million for the impact that you generated, you get impact fee credit, which means all the houses going to your development is going to get a cut. You're not going to pay impact fee until that $9 million is already accounted for. And the state also instituted a law a couple years ago, which is a protection of development that you can transfer your impact fee credit within impact area. So you have Palencia, you have, I don't know, I'm thinking Palencia, and then you have the adjacent, I don't remember the development. So if they're building houses and Palencia is done with all their development, they are closing out, but they still have residual $3 million impact fee credit. They can sell that $3 million credit by state law to the adjacent development within that impact area. So then
Who made that decision?
the state did.
That's silly.
So
So
that
it's a state mandate.
it is a state
that
mandate.
you guys have to deal with.
And essentially, we
ridiculous.
just lost the $3 million because
Yeah.
that was the money that we were going to collect from other development.
What a
So-
whammy.
Just so you guys understand, like the impact fees have to stay within the region in which those developments are at on a normal situation, but it now allows them to
Trade. Yeah.
if there's a development, now it allows if there's a development in Hastings, instead of that money staying in Hastings, it might be traded over to the Volano.
Right.
That's
How
right.
long has that been the case?
I would say around 3 years from its
terrible.
We need to
implementation.
change
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's terrible.
And we,
Eye-opening
as
joy.
one of the county government, we fought for it. And of course, we submitted when the legislature was being discussed and bill was being contemplated. We submitted a bunch of revision and also impact analysis on the county. We were going to essentially lose hundreds of millions of dollars because they're now concurrency impact fee. I mean, currency, they can trade. Essentially, the money that goes to our road construction is going to dry out because of that.
That's a terrible decision.
That didn't go anywhere. So
We can definitely, can you fix it? Can we change that? What do you have to do to rally around something like that? Does anyone know?
well, it's fairly well established law now. So
Everybody's making you learn to make the adjustment when the state
Yeah.
hits you with those mandates, and
Okay.
a lot of things. Poor road and bridge probably gets hit with it the most with the ditches and stuff like that. They have mandates that
Yeah.
have been on them for 20 years. It's near impossible what the state
Yeah.
hits you with.
Wow.
So state mandates are probably in the world of government. Like, I don't know if you would agree with this. Is probably one of the most difficult things to work with within the budget.
Yeah, and they have a lot more to also consider and contemplate too. And then, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining about our state delegations. I mean, they have been nothing but a great champion for St. Johns County. Senator Hudson, Speaker Renner, Representative Cindy Stevenson, and all the delegation, they bend backwards and forwards to figure out how they can bring more dollars and more positive impact to St. Johns County. This is a statewide issue, and they have to find that balance because there is also the voice of the private business side of it. And they want protection, and in their mind that I'm creating I'm paying all this money to mitigate the impact, but this impact is also, you can define that impact is the impact zone. So why can't I use that money that I pay for to mitigate that impact as long as the other development is in the impact zone? So there is definitely logic behind that law, but it has consequence on us for sure.
Yeah, you just made it more logical for me. I didn't realize. Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm just nervous in certain areas, and I don't think it would happen here because we have a pretty good balance within the board. In certain areas, there's areas that are not going to be as politically strong as some of the other areas, and it could push towards, say you're District 1 and I'm District 4. You have more political clout than District 1 because there's more money in yours than there is in my neighborhood. And you could pull some of that money using your political clout. So I could see it making the gap of the haves and have-nots really much bigger.
And if it's a state law, then a lot of time we are dealing with laws or bad consequence of the laws that because of Miami somehow, Dade County messed up something years ago, then they made a law to prevent that from happening again, but somehow we have to adhere to that too. So
Yeah. Well, I want to switch topics in just a second and talk comprehensive plan. What is it? How do people get involved? Why is it important? But first, we will get you guys caught up on the Gas Buddy gas report and a couple of other things. Let us know in the comments where you are seeing the best prices for gas in and around town. We'll start with the Sunoco this morning at $21.99 North Ponce, or at $3.09. That's our cash price. The Citgo's cash price at $10.99 South Ponce, $3.15. Moving on up. The Shell at 146 King, they're at $3.19. Your Shell at 216 Ponce de Leon Boulevard, $3.19 as well. Same with the Owens. And the Shell on 2350 North Ponce, $3.25. And the Gate on Mizell Road, $3.35 this morning. Jeez. Ouch.
Gracious.
Yeah. I'm feeling those impact fees.
Definitely.
Feeling the impact of gas on my wallet.
That's a direct impact.
If you get in trouble for any reason, you got to go to jail. We hope it doesn't happen, but if it does, Chris Lucero will make it like it never happened. He'll get you out of jail. He'll get you back to your real life. He has experienced professionals available 24/7 to provide you with fast and reliable bail services. 904-822-BAIL. That's 904-822-2245. We've got some live music happening today and tonight as well. We'll start with Jim Lamb at the Milltop Tavern at noon. We got Vinny Jacobs at the Cellar upstairs at 1 o'clock. Alexis Paramus.
Oh, very nice to see him back.
Yep. 1 o'clock. Pierre's Pub. Michael Lee Howard. Is that one of our serial killers?
Yes.
Yeah. He has three first names.
Yep.
Yeah.
Three first names. Yep.
Poor guy.
So proud.
3 first names. Pizzali's at 3 o'clock. We got Crawford Boyd's Acoustic Anomaly. They're at Tradewinds at 5. Evan D. Guy Harvey Resort at 5. Trevor Compton at St. Augustine Shores Golf Club at 5. Vinny Jacobs at Hurricane Grill and Wings at 5. The J.C. Hatfield Trio at the Conch House, 5 o'clock. Dewey Vaya.
Hey.
Cimarron Golf Club, 5:30. Dion and Collins.
Okay. Sounds like a
Sounds like a doo-wop band.
R&B group. I was
doo-wop
going
band from
yeah.
like the 50s.
Do
You can see him at Barillo's.
All right.
Oh, okay.
6 o'clock.
A little outdoors, nice night.
Zach Haywood, Salt Life, 6 o'clock. Vegas Gray, Pierre's Pub at 6. Chris McNeil, Colonial Oak at 7. Courtney Frazier, Shayla Moore, 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Josh Tennessee Worthy at Me Hands at 7. Willie Nelson, is he at the amphitheater again tonight? Okay.
How exciting.
Okay.
Wow.
All right, Willie.
Good for us. 7:30 tonight.
Feeling bad about being tired. He's like 85, working 2 nights in a row.
I know.
Oh, seriously, man. That's what do I want to do? Seth Greer at Cafe 11 at 8. Burn Unit at Fusion 904 Eatery at 8. Contact Buzz at Tradewinds at 9. And Cholula, No Name Bar at 10 o'clock.
All right, I did go to the Alcazar to try and find out how Kanicki spells his name, and he was not there.
Oh, why are you bad luck?
He totally Johnson Burns this.
Wow.
and he was not there.
Tim.
What is
'Cause
up with that phantom
like,
performers?
okay, I gotta get this done, but the lunch was amazing.
Why do people
sure,
not
yeah.
show up when they know you're going to be there watching?
Yeah.
Something about that.
A lot of pressure,
They have
maybe.
a curry chicken salad on a croissant.
Oh,
So good.
that sounds delicious.
Yeah, you would never eat that. It's not chicken nuggets.
It's
he wouldn't like
it's way too fancy.
the curry part.
It's not a
Too
cheeseburger. or a
Hoity-toity
hamburger.
for me. All right, you know what's not hoity-toity for me is Griffin Services. I can afford their services, thank goodness. Whether it's AC, whether it's electrical, plumbing, unclogging the drains, they can do it all. They are the home of fast and friendly and affordable service 7 days a week. Give them a call, 904-500-2653, or visit griffinservice.com and see the Griffins. Also, our friends at Fidus Roofing, of course. And not only do they here we go. Let me try again.
Easy for you to say.
Take two.
Not only do they do great work protecting your home through your roof, they also support a lot of local charities and support our local kids here in St. Johns County. Fidus Roofing. Get them up there for a free roof inspection because it's free. 904-355-ROOF.
They do pavers.
And gutters.
All right.
Yeah.
County Administrator Joy Andrews sitting in here with us this morning. Joy, we appreciate you being here. I want to talk a little bit about the comprehensive plan. We hear a lot about the comprehensive plan, and you guys want citizen input, right?
That's
Feedback.
right.
What is
Yep.
the comprehensive plan? Why is it important, and why should people be giving you the input? Why is it necessary?
Well, because we're building your house. You're building your house. We're building your house for the next 25 years. So it's 2050 is the plan. Comprehensive plan essentially is a roadmap on how you're going to define the boundary of using the analogy of your house, where you want your bedroom to be, where your bathroom, your study, your den, your dining room, your family rooms, your front yard, your backyard. So this is St. Johns County. We are going to use that plan. When I say we, the board, when they make future decisions based on the what's in the plan, and the plan will include elements such as natural resource conservation, where you want to see your natural resources to be conserved, what land you want that to be preserved for whatever purpose, and affordable housing, where you want that affordable housing to occur, what kind of mechanism you want the board to put in place to make sure that you have the element of affordable housing to be produced in a timely and be ample about it. And then where you want economic development, like we talk about industrial and commercial, where you think that boundary should be. You know, we know from the community from Ogden, they don't want a distribution center. We learned from one of the application maybe a year ago. So then the community needs to tell us upfront exactly where you want to see these job growth to happen, where you want to see what kind of businesses to happen, and where you want to see the single family, where you want to see the farmland, where you want to see all these things. So there are the elements of the discussions that essentially the board can adopt a plan without understanding their constituents' wants, desires, aspirations, and needs. So this is why your voice really matters, and you need to tell our consultant, our staff, as we go through this very intense public engagement process, as we hold these town halls, and as we hold these roundtables with specific topics, you need to let us know how you want your house to be built, how you want your home to look like 2050. And I think a lot of end users of this plan is going to be the youth currently are in high school. So somehow we need to find out how we can engage them as well. You need to tell us, this is going to be your home in the future. You're going to have your family, your children in that home, how you want it to look like. Simultaneously, we are also doing a strategic plan, which last time I talked about the difference of it, which is your government, how you want your government to look like, how you want your services to be delivered, how you want us to pick up your garbage. What are the more important things than the others? Which area you want us to spend more money than other area? Would you like more ball fields? You want more libraries? You want more roads? So strategic plan essentially will serve that purpose. So to avoid confusion, we really put together the two initiatives simultaneously. So we're hosting these public engagement meetings together with the 2 topics so that you can give us input at one location at one time. So the 3 ones that we have just scheduled is in February 20th, 6 to 7:30 at Passetti Bay Middle School Auditorium.
Oh, okay.
February 21st, 6 to 7:30 p.m. at Southeast Branch Library, and February 22nd, 6 to 7:30 p.m. at Ponte Vedra Concert Hall. And we're going to have at least the 3 more town halls in March. Potentially, we'll have some redundant ones just because we do have some residents are either snowbirds or they don't live here all year round. So we want to make sure that we do provide accessibility for those folks. So there are going to be plenty of opportunity for you to give us feedback. If you can't be there, we'll have an online survey. We'll have a feedback hotline. We'll have all kinds of ways for you to let us know how you want to see your home to be built.
And I think it's important for people to understand that because a lot of people, you've seen it throughout your career in county government. A lot of people will show up to a county commission meeting and say, "Hey, wait, this came out of nowhere. What are we doing? This I've never heard of this before." And it's like nothing comes out of nowhere. There's always an opportunity for the public to get involved and ask questions somewhere along the line.
Right.
So this is that opportunity.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And Pete wanted to put in his request. He wants more roundabouts and
That's
carousels.
a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. Do not put that on me, sir. Do not put that on me. Nope. This is
not.
Not the official comprehensive plan meeting,
not-
and I will not be there asking for that.
This isn't the time?
Nope.
Get roundabout out your mouth.
Well, this is a perfect example for Pete that you need to show up in person because people like Troy will misrepresent you.
See? Yes. Yep. Exactly. That's a good learning lesson right there. Yes, they will.
Joy, quick sidestep. We are all in comments loving this sweater. Can you please tell people where you got this sweater? Because
Oh
they're
my
going,
gosh.
they're thinking Ann Taylor, Banana Republic.
He's now stealing my time.
Look, let me have some sort of conversation. Dude, you had like nine hours of airtime today. It's super cute.
I will have to comment on the comment section after
Okay.
I'm done. Yeah.
She's like, I'm not getting that out there. Good.
Because I cannot stop when I start talking about fashion.
I love it.
Well, Joy, thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate your time. We appreciate some of the
Thank you.
clarity on these issues. And where do people go to find current meetings and figure out how they can get involved in county politics?
Oh, I'm glad that you mentioned this. I think Wayne would not be excited if I don't mention this. So we now have a new website.
Okay.
And we actually will launch this Friday our new app, which is called St. Johns County Connect, or
Good.
SJC Connect. But we do have a brand new website. And I mention this because one, I love the look and it's clean, it's mobile device friendly. You can pull it up on your phone, on your iPads. And our team of public affairs have been working on this for at least a year and a half. So Tina, Cindy, Tyler, Wayne, I mean, that's the team that they've been working and among other things they have to do. So I'm asking our residents, whoever's listening, go on the website and tell us if there are bugs because we are beta testing this. And I am pretty sure it's imperfect, but we can improve them if we know where they are. And so we can make adjustment.
Cool.
So,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Excellent.
Thank you very much. All right, Troy, how do you want to check out the comments today, man?
I'm going to thoughtfully go through on this terrific Thursday.
All right. Should do that. Everybody's commenting on my fine shirt over here.
Oh, they did in the beginning,
It's
yeah.
actually
love
an
when you
old
wear a button.
catering shirt.
Is it really?
Yeah, there's like a fork over here. That's
Oh,
where you
how
put
cool
your
is that?
Utensils and
Wow.
pens. It's
You put like a flashlight in there now.
I'm really running out of clean clothes.
It looks a lot sharper than the Mario Brothers shirt.
Hey, see?
I get so many compliments on that Mario Brothers
you
shirt.
go.
It is my most complimented shirt. I will tell you that Bates, Hewitt, and Floyd, they set the standard that your home is more than a house. It is where your memories are made. Let them protect your house so you can make memories in your home. Same thing, but different. Having a reliable local insurance agency like Bates, Hewitt, and Floyd with over 40 years experience in homeowners, auto, commercial, and benefits locally, by the way, can be a valuable asset in navigating the unpredictable insurance market. Give them a call, 904-794-5455. There we go. or visit them at 165 South Park, Suite C. Also, our friends at Willow and Maine Beauty Bar, they are your hair's best friend. If you are tired of looking tired, you got to head over to Willow and Maine. If you're feeling like your hair's in a rut, head over to Willow and Maine. They're your hair hut. Not sure where to fix your frame? Take your mug to Willow and Maine, and don't let a hair emergency stress you out. Check out their latest specials on their Instagram at Willow and Maine Beauty Bar. And Wednesday is always Men's Day. All right, Troy, what you got?
All right, so it looks like Shaq and Jordan won on the athletes, which kind of makes sense. They're both like billionaires. Willie Nelson's going to be 91 in April.
Wow.
God bless.
91.
Oh, jeez.
Dang, that weed's good. Thank you, Ann, for the stars. And, there was a lot of comments about your sweater over there.
A lot.
A
Yeah.
lot of love for the
A
sweater.
lot of love for you, Joy, in comments. Yes.
Yeah, so.
What do you got for Stordom Stat?
All right, Stordom Stat, 1898. Remember the Maine. You ever heard that term?
I don't think
the
so.
Maine.
I don't think so.
It was a fighting cry. It was a battle cry for the Spanish-American War. And the Maine, USS Maine got sunk in Havana Harbor. All right. And it kind of sprung us into the Spanish-American War. We kicked their ass in about 3 months. And then that's how we ended up with Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines. But they did a study in like 1991, and they realized it probably wasn't the Spanish that created it. It was us that had stacked the ammunition wrong and a fire. They did an entire study, and so the whole thing. But we ended up with Guam, the Philippines, and Puerto Rico out of the deal.
Puerto Rico.
Yeah,
Nice.
But it was a war that was very short. It's where Teddy Roosevelt kind of got his big boost politically with the Rough Riders. Even though he wasn't in charge, he was second
DMX?
in charge. Yeah.
Yeah.
EVE.
EVE.
So remember the Maine.
All right. And remember St. Augie's Pizza. Stop in there between Riberia and ML King today. Get yourself a great slice or a lot more than one. Plugs, Troy.
Bollocks tonight, 6:34. We're doing the story of Henry Flagler and Rockefeller, their friendship and how that came to be.
Yeah, I want to hear about that.
Davey?
We've got a really good in-depth look at the St. John's Botanical Gardens this afternoning. I'm excited to meet them. They're very excited to be here. It's going to be a great show.
Blake?
Check flagrathletics.com for athletic schedule this weekend.
And go to the FloridaManGames.com for the athletic schedule for next weekend.
Ha!
You guys have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you at 3.
Bye-bye.